Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Thank you for taking time to cruise in today for Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy, and welcome to our home, housed here in Lone Star Community Radio Studios in Conroe Tower, which, by the way, is in the county where the that's recognized as the birthplace of the Lone Star state flag.
Oh, yeah?
And yeah, you didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
You got to read some signs around town.
Okay.
A lot of history in this little town. We are right across the hall from Conroe City Council. I see that there's some people milling around there. I guess they're going to hold a meeting.
They just finished a meeting. Yeah, they
finished it.
Yeah, they were in session. They went over a whole bunch of stuff. I'm sure it has to do with money.
Yeah, there's probably a good chance it has to do with money. I got to get here earlier so I can knock on a window and cause a little
check
havoc.
Check out the agenda, yeah.
Yeah. See if we can get the boys in blue over there to start heading my way, and I can run in here and get Dick to let me in.
Right.
Oh, I forgot to mention, your name is?
Robert Helmer.
I'm Randy Weldon. We are your hosts for today.
Thank you for joining us.
For Cruisin. Dick Schischler is back in the sound booth behind a protective glass. He is our sound engineer and our producer. And I understand, Robert, you've got quite a bit of stuff compiled for today's show.
Let's see what we got. Recalls. This time we're picking on the Chevrolet.
Wait a minute. Before recalls, do we have any guests?
Our guest today is going to be David Sollenne.
It's Sollenne. It's just not spelled like Sollenne.
I know. It's really confusing there. So he's going to be here. He is the creator of CarShowFun.com, and I've known him for a really long time, about the same time I started Northside. And he's going to come in here and talk about his programming that he created.
That's a program for gamers that like to drive on the road.
No.
What is it?
This is a program to do car shows and judging.
Registration,
and judging, and it's a really good format. Everybody needs to check it out. It's easy to do, and let me tell you, when it came out, it cut about 3 hours of registration time, and for car show people, that is a lot. Take that workload off of them. This is instant. As soon as somebody signs up, they are instant on the program. And when it comes to judging, all you have to do is take your phone, go walk around in the parking lot. You bring up the categories, and you bring up the car, and you judge the car, and you put submit, and it's done.
So no more
pencil and paper.
No more pencil and paper.
And more over there trying to add and subtract.
Well, people trying to add and subtract, or when the wind's blowing out there, or it's raining.
Right.
You're trying to write on that paper. Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah. So it's a blessing in disguise for people who do car shows. This is a great program. They need to check it out if they haven't already.
Downside is you got to have a cell phone. It won't work on a home phone.
Well, just about everybody has a cell phone. Yes. Just don't be afraid to use it.
Do you know anybody has a home phone?
Not anymore.
No, me either.
No.
Even my parents, before they passed away, had gone to cell phones. So,
yeah.
Anyhow, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Speaking of cell phone, home phone and cell phone, I was seeing a comedian last night, the blue collars comedian, where he was talking about, we always look at our cell phone to see if anybody's called or something. We always pick it up and look at it. He goes, we didn't do that when we had the wall phone.
Nope.
We didn't go over there and pick it up. Hey, nobody's wrong. Nobody's calling us.
But when you think about it, when caller ID first came, we all had a little box on the end table.
Right.
We'd look at that.
Before picking it up.
Yeah. We would do that.
Yeah. So let's get to the recalls. 24 Chevrolet Corvette recall. The driver and passenger side seatbelt retractors may lock in a certain position and become inaccessible for the occupant. So that's really bad when it comes to if an accident happens. The seatbelt that cannot restrain the occupant increases the risk of accidents in a crash. Okay, so that's the Corvette, and that goes to 24 to 25.
Well, what's it do or not do?
It locks and it doesn't restrain the occupant during a crash.
No, it doesn't stop you from going through the windshield.
It doesn't stop you from going through the windshield. That's correct.
No, not cool.
So that's something. There's 13,000 units out there. So if you have one of those, you need to take it to the dealer and get that fixed. The second one is the Colorado. It's also it's the front camera. They have a front camera.
I like those front cameras.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's something wrong with it. I don't have what's actually the problem, but it needs to be corrected. And this was a good one. 20 to 24 Silverados. The tailgate short circuits due to water coming in, and it may drop down. Opens up
On its own.
Yep.
Nice.
So you need to go get that fixed.
Hope you're not carrying anything valuable back there.
Yeah. So that's today's recalls, and that's on the Chevrolets for today.
All right.
I got also my wife's brakes got replaced this week, and if you're ever looking for a mechanic, an honest mechanic, somebody that just going to go thoroughly through the car and tell you every problem and be fair and honest with you, I've got one. It's Greg's Garage. He's right by my house. He's right there in Cleveland in the Security and Midway area, right there right off of 105.
Just to the west side of Cleveland.
Right. Let me tell you,
Before you get to Cut and Shoot.
Right. Well, just after Cut and Shoot, no, just after.
East of Cut and Shoot,
Yeah.
west of Cleveland.
Right.
Yeah?
So, but yeah, he went through the brakes. She needed 2 rotors, and gave us the dimensions and everything. And also, when he got into it, he saw that it needed a brake caliber. But you know, he's showing us the prices of the parts. He's putting all this time into going through what it's going to cost. And when he got through, everything worked beautifully, and he only charged us 1 hour labor.
Very nice.
Yes. But he went totally through that car before he even started on it. He knew every problem with that car. And he was just, like I said, totally honest. And he's owner of the garage. Works by himself, but
What's the name of the business?
it's Greg's Garage.
Greg's Garage. Is there a
Right.
phone number?
Yeah, you can get him at 281-432-2903. And like I said, give him a call if you got a problem with the car, because I can tell you, I back this guy.
Well, I know you had passed that name on to Yolanda.
Right.
She actually picked up the phone
Yeah.
and called on my red convertible Mustang, which, folks, a couple of years ago I got mad at it and quit driving it, and now it won't start. And it's not the battery, I promise you. I can't even get it out of
Can't get out of the drive.
Can't get it out of park.
Yeah, park.
Yeah, so yeah, it's not moving anywhere.
Yeah.
But we're going to tow it over to Greg. He was like, hey, just bring it over and we'll fix it a little bit at a time and eventually get it back to you. I don't need it. I mean, I get mad at it, so I haven't driven it in a couple of years. So
now it's So now that's what you get.
yeah, well, it paid me back, by golly.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about some car meets?
Are there some out there?
I don't know. See, that's another thing.
With today's heat index of 115 degrees outside.
I guess that's why
Who's
I'm not
doing a car meet?
I guess that's why I'm not finding that many. But Home Depot at Magnolia. This is on 1488. It's 6119 FM 1488, and they do a Friday night cruise-in. Also, Valley Ranch. I used to go out to Valley Ranch a lot.
We used to both go out there.
Yeah, I haven't been out there in a while. But 99 and 59, it's right there at the Valley Ranch Shopping Center in the Kroger's parking lot.
That was on Friday evenings.
Fridays, yeah. And sometimes it got so busy, it was also Saturday too. So if there's any other car meets, y'all comment and let us know. We'd love to put that out there.
Well, I'll tell you what I saw released this week. Aside from the October 5th show, I believe it is, with at Lone Star Ford, or Planet Ford, at Randall Reed's Planet Ford in Spring, October 5th is the Mustang Club of Houston show. So that's coming up.
I've got a list of car shows here.
Well, we had that I saw this week, but I also saw next year's Sollenne Nationals.
That's in Austin, right?
That's going to be in Austin at the Kalahari Resort.
Is Pam setting that up?
Pam is setting that up. She scheduled the whole thing.
Right.
So that'll be a national show. Steve Sollenne will be there for that.
Yeah.
That'll be a good event.
What is this Sollenne movie car find that they're looking. Any Sollenne that had been in a movie. I didn't understand the flyer. Did you notice that one?
Yeah. She's just looking to get some movie cars out there.
Okay. Well, what do they consider a movie car?
Something that's been in a movie.
Okay. It's like, I don't know too many Sollennes that have been in the movies. Okay. Speaking of car shows coming up, we have the Wolf Creek Park 39th annual. It's coming up October the 19th and the 20th. It's a Saturday and a Sunday in Cold Spring, Texas. And that's hosted by the Chamber of Commerce. And then the next one is Tomball Depot Plaza. And this is really cool. It's an all vintage Volkswagen car show.
Oh, that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, that's going to be great. And let's see, that's on South Elm Street. And then Tomball Depot Plaza. Okay, and then another one that went away and is coming back. This is a good one, the Longhorn Rod Run in Old Town Springs.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, $30 entry. And this is also another Saturday and Sunday show.
They pack that town up.
September the 21st and 22.
Yep.
So that's two great shows. And then like you said, you got the Mustang Club of Houston, October 5th at Planet Ford in Spring, right up there off I-45. And this is in Kingwood, the town center, Best Automotive Fall Show. That's October the 13th. That's right there on Kingwood Drive. Okay, and then Sam Houston Corvette Club, they were here, one of our guests. This is coming up October the 27th in the Woodlands at the Town Green Park. That's at 2300 Lake Woodlands Drive. And this is $40 entry.
And I think
Corvettes are getting expensive.
You have to have a Corvette also,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then another one, a very favorite, our 16th annual Halloween Classic Car Show, October the 5th at the National Museum of Funeral History. And that's off of I-45 in Rankin.
Yeah, it's down there Rankin. That's where the funeral museum is. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
That's where the museum is.
It's got a couple of restaurants right in front of it.
Never been.
Yeah. So
I need to go.
It's a good one because everybody get to decorate their cars.
I'm usually out of town when that occurs.
Yeah.
Now, don't forget, on September 21st, you've got the Wild Horse Mustang Show. I think it's the 15th annual,
Right.
which is at Silsbee Ford in Lumberton, Texas.
Yeah. And the next thing I just wanted to mention was we've had some great guests. I think we got like 6 podcasts now.
I don't know, got a couple.
Yeah. We've had Speed Advocate, Stephen Cruz, and Mustang Club of America President Jeff Mays. We've had him on. We've had the Sam Houston Corvette Club. We had his president, Joe. And the Conroe Cruisers, Terry Burnett. So
we had the Crave Girls on here.
yeah, and Tiffany. Don't give
From
me
Gullo Ford.
Gullo Ford, and I just talked to her today. She's moved her office over to the Mazda dealer.
Oh,
So if you want to go see Tiffany now, you have to go over there.
she's your community relations
She's
person.
our PR person for Gullo.
Yep.
And we're talking to Jeff. We're going to be talking to Jeff about maybe sponsoring. So
Okay, cool.
hopefully that'll come in. We've had Habitat for Humanity. So if there's people here that we just mentioned that you'd like to hear from, check out our back shows.
Yep.
Let us know what you think about them.
They're all out there on YouTube and Facebook, on irlonestar.com as well.
Yep.
Also, so you've got David Sollenne coming in here in a little bit, talk about carshowfun.com, his car show registration and judging program. But we've got Al Hammond, who's going to Zoom into us from Columbus, Ohio. And he is the national treasurer for Mustang Club of America.
Okay.
But he started off as a national director, kind of like you and I, and went on and ran for the executive board and won there. So we'll have Al here before the end of this program.
Yeah, and that's another thing to think about. If you ever want to come out on the show, you don't naturally have to be in the studio. We can always Zoom you in.
Well, last week, this episode that just ran, we had Mike Marge from In Wheel Time
Right.
Zooming in from a Dodge Hornet, from the front seat of a Dodge Hornet. So,
and also to let them know that if you're watching this, maybe they can mention us on their show once in a while.
I think on their show you got to pay. You got to pay to get mentioned. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I did want to mention also had an experience that I view as kind of a positive experience here in the end. But took my truck and the Mustang that I just bought over to Rainbow Car Wash on Sawdust Road, and had both the cars washed this weekend. And it's over 100 degrees outside. Everybody's out there dying, but it took a little longer than normal, although they were busy, to get the cars cleaned. But we were there over a couple hours waiting to get the cars dried. I decided to run and get my truck fueled up at Sam's Club before they closed. And so I took off, and I left Yolanda there with the Mustang. She was the last car out, but she was put in an uncomfortable situation where she got into the car, and as she was getting in, one of the workers driving the car opened the passenger's door. And, of course, all this exchanged completely in Spanish because she speaks Spanish.
Right.
And I don't think he's from the U.S. But he asked her, he told her, made a compliment to her, and then wanted to know if she was single or married. And, she said, well, I've got a boyfriend. We live together. And he said, would you go out with me? And so she turned him down, and then he wanted her phone number. So Monday morning, I wrote the car wash. And a lot of times you'll write these people and make a complaint you never hear from.
Falls on deaf ears. Yep.
But within a matter of 30 minutes or so, Rainbow Car Wash called me, their office manager, Tina, and I can't pronounce her last name. But she's like, hey, give us your license plate number. They looked at the footage. They called me today. This is what really impressed me. They called me today. Aside from the other day offering a free car wash and today offering a free car wash, they made sure we understood that the situation was addressed.
Right.
To which I hope the gentleman didn't lose his job. That wasn't the goal here.
Right.
But coming in from another country, sometimes you don't understand the culture that you're in. But they addressed it right away and deeply apologized more than one time. You don't get that out of a lot of people. You don't get that type of customer service. So anyhow, I was highly impressed with them on that.
And I think if it's car wash or a mechanic, I think when somebody's doing a great job, it needs to be noticed.
Needs to be recognized. Yeah. Individual businesses like that. I think Rainbow is probably a franchise car wash. Regardless, there's an individual back there that has a company set up that owns that.
Right.
I doubt it's corporately owned, but they did a great job. And they did a good job washing the cars as well.
Oh, that's good.
So that turned out pretty good. Hey, I also wanted to mention I follow a guy that posts these little reels on Facebook called Matty McTech. And the other day, he sent or listed, powerful websites you need to know. And this was called startmycar.com.
Okay.
And you need to go to the site, and you can put in whatever you're looking for and whatever type of car you're looking for. But he used the example of fuse boxes. Well, I'm too big. You're probably not, but I'm too big to get under the damn front seat of my truck.
Yeah, crawl under there, and yeah.
And I had a few fuses blown a couple of years ago, so I tried to get under there and never could. So I've still got some stuff that's out in the truck on the inside. But on this thing, it'll actually pull up a colored diagram of the fuse box, and you can actually roll over each and every fuse. It'll tell you exactly what the number is and what it's for. So you have a better idea going under there when you can't see it. That was a pretty cool website. So startmycar.com, pretty slick website.
That's good.
So
good information. What other options did he have on there for you, though?
Oh, I didn't look at all of them.
You didn't look at all of them?
No, I didn't have time. I was mostly interested in that fuse box when I saw that. So.
Okay.
Well, listen, I think it's time we get out of here and give some recognition to the station. So this is Cruisin Car Club Talk on Lone Star 104.5 and 106.1. Or for those of you interested in joining us from around the globe, you can stream us over irlonestar.com on YouTube or on Facebook.
All right, we'll be right back.
Car enthusiasts of Conroe, FM 104.5 and 106.1 Lone Star Community Radio invites you to shift into gear every Monday from 1 to 2 with Cruisin Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy for news on all things automotive in the greater Houston-Conroe area. Can't make a live show? We've got you covered. You can find all of our uncut content, including full episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Play Store, YouTube, Facebook, and irlonestar.com. Again, that's Mondays 1 to 2, Cruisin Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. See you there.
We are back with appreciation for you spending time with us on Cruisin Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. And this segment, I shouldn't say this hour, but this segment, we've got an old retired guy in the studio with us who I guess just retired last week, right?
Last
Thursday. David Sollenne, who created a program called carfun.com and
Carshowfun.com.
Well, he knows better than me, man.
Yeah.
I can't read or write,
Carshowfun.com. And we wanted to start from the beginning. When you actually came, what year was it, 2008, 2009?
I think it was 2008.
2008?
Yeah.
Because I just formed Northside, and we were at a Papa show. And I know you came to me and said, hey, there's got to be an easy way to doing this. And you started an Excel sheet right then and there, and you kind of like said, this is all you really need. You can just do this. And I have nothing to know. I don't know anything about computers or Excel sheets at the time. So I was just blown away. And to see what you came back about, I think, two years after that.
I think about that, yeah.
You come back and you said, hey, I got this, and it just blew everybody away. And it took about 3 hours of actual registration time off the shoulders of all the organizers. You just cut the time in half.
Right.
And so I'm sure all the women that was doing the registration tables were glad to see that. And I know it took a lot of burden from me and a lot of pressure from me away too, that you could complete a show faster too, because everybody's always waiting around. When is this show going to be done?
Right.
When's judging going to start?
It's
Right.
2:00. It's time to go. And you're like, wait a minute, we're not finished. But
By the way, he still knows nothing about spreadsheets.
Well, he doesn't need to.
yeah,
Yeah, you made it look not like a spreadsheet.
right.
Exactly.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's not complicated at all. That's why I try to tell people, do not be afraid of this website. It's probably the best thing that's ever happened to car shows. I wish it would go national and that just everybody use it. I think that's where it needs to be. I don't think there's anything else out there, is there?
There are some competing services out there. I haven't really done much research into them because frankly, when I did this, I didn't want to be influenced by what anyone else was doing. I wanted to do what I thought was the right thing.
Right. But you got to be protected on what you've created too. You don't want anybody copying yours.
Initially, I thought that, and over the years, I've kind of decided I don't care because it takes a lot of time and money and investment
Right.
to get something up and running. So if they want to do it, that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we need more of this. Is how I feel.
Okay. How many hours of creativity do you have in this program?
Well, I actually quit my job 3 times to work on this. That's how much time.
That's
it
pretty
takes.
serious.
That's
too.
how much time it takes.
Yeah.
So overall, I'd say I've got multiple thousands of hours in this.
Yeah. So I can see nobody's wanting to put that many hours devoted in copying what you got.
Right, and that's where I was coming from.
Right.
I mean, somebody like me who just likes to do car shows and software,
Right.
it was a great fit. But if you're really doing this for a business, it's going to be some investment, some time, some effort to do it.
Right.
Well, isn't part of that, you start with an idea, putting this in a spreadsheet or whatever, and then you evolve it, make it look a little simpler for everybody. But then you'll wake up in the middle of the night at like 3 a.m. and it's like, oh, I got an idea for that happens, right?
Oh, it happens all the time. For me, it's not necessarily in the middle of the night. It's just whenever. But yeah, I mean, I'll just be doing something. All of a sudden, this would be good to put into the system.
Yeah, it reminds me of the old HP commercial. What if?
Yeah.
I think it was HP.
Yeah.
Somebody in a shower. What if? But that's how it happened. That's how it evolves.
Yeah.
So when you talk about literally thousands and thousands of hours, that's why.
Yes.
Because those ideas kind of leapfrog onto each other.
Right, and then there's the practical usage of the system that showed initially some areas for improvement. So I went back and made those.
That's recent, right?
Well, I mean, over time.
Over time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe some flaws in the registration process or the judging process, or something.
Well, you even customize some parts of it for us, I remember.
I did for Mustang Club of America. They used it for a couple of shows, and they wanted some additional changes, so I did those. Yeah.
Who was the first guinea pig? What was the first car show?
The first car show was, I can't remember, to be honest with you. I know who I worked with on the show, but I don't remember what the show was.
Well, I know the upcoming Planet Ford show with Mustang Club of Houston. They're touting carshowfund.com as their site to register on.
Right.
Yeah. And I know I was getting spoiled for David being there at the car show.
Yeah,
and your wife did the BJ Ford car show with me.
Right.
And so that was great because, they're handling it, and I know everything is going to be fine, And so you wouldn't believe how the relief of, running a car show. You can go and work on other things and try to.
Initially, especially during, the period where we were getting it up and running, looking at the flaws, my wife and I worked the shows and helped everybody go along with it. But, we came to a realization we can't do that. If this were to ever
you can't
spread beyond
babysit
Houston,
everybody all the time.
We could not do that. So we've started backing off, and everybody seems to be handling it just fine.
Yeah, it's once you get familiarized with the program, it's not that hard. It gets pretty easy to maneuver, and so just don't be intimidated by it, right?
Exactly. And now that I'm retired, I have some more time. I'm going to be working up some training videos also.
Right.
So if you decide to use the system, there will be some training videos that walk you through each part of the show, of running the show through the system.
Yeah, those would be helpful.
Yeah, and I know it's a little intimidating to go ask everybody, hey, if you want to judge cars, and you get everybody in the room like okay, get your phones out because we're going to do this on the phone, and then you got to sign up, and they're like, oh, I'm out of here. It's just once you do it, it is so easy. You want to do it all the time. So that's the thing about the program. It's just don't be afraid of it.
Right. It's very simple. I mean, the system boils down to three parts: registration, judging, and the award ceremony.
And if you're registering for a car show, you're going to put your car in, and you go to carshowfund.com, and you create the username and the password, and you put your car in there. You're done. You're already in the system.
Well, so and you're assigned in a category because you put it into a category.
But if you want to be a judge, you're already in the system. So just log in and say.
Well, even to be a judge, though, you don't even need to log into the system. If you recall, you're just assigned a PIN number.
Assigned a PIN number, right?
And when you go hit the show judge link, it just asks for your PIN number.
So it's that easy.
Right.
So there's nothing to be intimidated about. It's really easy.
But when you go out to the car and you're judging with your phone,
right,
you've got some drop-down menus, right, that are, you're judging the engine bay, you're judging the interior, the exterior, and you're just basically taking amount of points that you're assigning to the car. It's automatically calculating those.
Right. And the judging sheets, I do want to mention the judging sheets I don't come up with. Whoever is running the show gives me a judging sheet. So each car show could have its own judging sheet.
Its own judging sheet.
Right.
They could be totally judging totally different way.
Right. But like you say, we enter the judging sheet and everything is assigned a number 0 to 10, say 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. And you just go through each of the categories, each of the items, and assign the point to it. And then the payoff of this whole thing is it takes about 5 seconds to get the results.
Right.
Yep.
And also, it takes only about 5 minutes to judge your car that way too.
Right. And there's no paper blowing in the wind, and it's
oh man,
easy.
we miss that.
Some people do.
That and when it's raining on the paper and you're trying to put a number down on there.
Right. Yeah. And another thing that's good about it is if you have somebody monitoring the program while the show is going, you instantly know when there's ties.
Right.
You can signal to a judge, hey, you got a tie on this category. Y'all need to go back and break that tie real quick.
Right.
That's something that you might not know until 3 hours later with pencil and paper.
Right. It's also been a long time since I've actually worked in the program, but I can remember doing a couple of car shows with it. And as the judge would submit whatever category it was, you could see that one check itself off.
Right.
You knew exactly how many cars are still in the category that need to be judged. You knew when the category was done.
Right.
And people would come up asking you questions, and you could tell them as you were making progress with it.
Right. And if you recall, when the judges are typically assigned classes to judge,
Yep.
and as they judge something, they'll have a list of those cars in those classes, and they come off the list, and you know they're judged. When all the cars are off your list, you know you're done.
Right.
And then the show administrator can also look at the results real time, and see, are we running slow on judging? Do we need to pick it up, or is there a problem?
Yeah.
And so it can be monitored from start to finish.
And another advantage of this, being a former president of a car show, and knowing that, hey, if I got extra trophies, this is another thing. While you cut the time of that's required for tallying votes and all that, now I can concentrate to see, hey, I've got extra trophies. Can I split a class? Yes, we can, right?
Well, splitting a class we don't typically do. No,
Right.
I mean we don't do that. But the results does keep track of how many trophies have been awarded
Right.
or assigned to winners, and tells you if you have leftover trophies. And what normally happens is if you want to give all the trophies out, then you can manually go in and award those trophies.
Right. And that's stuff that you didn't have time for before this program.
Right.
We just didn't have time to be looking at stuff like that.
Right.
It whatever it was is, if you had trophies left over, that's it. You just didn't have time to go back.
Right. And everybody wants to give out their trophies. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, you don't
it
want anything left over.
makes all the participants happier.
Right.
Makes you happier, so you don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
See, I like taking leftover trophies and selling them.
I'm sure there are people that buy them.
There are people that buy them.
Yeah.
We sell them at a discount price, but there are people that buy them. You show an old rusty Dodge, right? Is that
Currently, I have a 2019 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Red Eye. Yes.
Oh, you got one of those little four cylinders.
I got the slow one.
You got
Yeah.
the slow one, yeah.
Yeah.
EcoBoost.
That's what your license plate says, the slow one. So you're showing your Hellcat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be a big Corvette guy, but as I got older, Corvettes got harder to get in and out of, honestly.
They are, yeah. The lower they are.
Was you a club person? Were you in any clubs?
I was a member of the Sam Houston Corvette Club for quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we had them on our show.
Yeah. And we do their show also.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good. Didn't know that.
Speaking of that, yeah, what shows do you have on your program right now that they can register for?
So we have the Northside Mustang Club.
Right.
We have the Sam Houston Corvette Club, the Mustang Club of Houston, and the Kingwood
Best automotive show.
Best Automotive Show.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you want to register for those, go to carshowfun.com and you can register for all those shows and be in every one of them.
And everyone would love it. I would love it.
Well, actually, I mean, the people that use it come back to you time and time again.
They do. It's mainly repeat customers at this point, mainly because I've been so busy with my real job.
Yeah, you haven't been out there to try to promote it as
Right.
often as you can.
Right. That's about to change.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now you'll be creating training videos, and for a fee, you'll come out and actually help administer a show.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured, that's only fair, right?
Well, exactly.
You computer guys are all the same.
Don't tell anybody that secret, man. We charge by the minute too. By the way.
Yeah.
But there's some changes coming up that I'm be working on for the system. One of the comments we get is, I don't want to use it for registration. I just want to use it for judging. Excuse me. And the registration was initially part of, that's how you get into the system. But some clubs seriously do not want to do it that way. They just want to walk up to a car and judge it. We still have to have their judging sheet, classes, and all that. But they want to walk up to it, enter the class, the car number, do the judging, and then have it do the results.
How do you not have a car in the system if they're just going to?
You'll have when the judge judges the car, he enters it into the system. That's how it gets in at that point. So it's not a matter of...
It's still getting done. It's just getting done at a different time.
Correct. But I hear a lot of that is we don't want to use the registration. We just want to use the judging. And so that's coming. There's some other things coming. I'll let you see later.
Well, one of the things on this is you don't really get a judging sheet at the end of the show, but you can buy one.
Well, exactly. You're judging. There is a judging sheet, and that is how I offset the cost of running this website. After the show, you'll be notified that the show is over through email or text, and then you can go to carshowfund.com, look at the show. It'll be listed under completed shows, and if you want to see your judging sheet, you can buy it. I think it's $3. Or you can buy the whole class, or you can buy every judging sheet. I mean, whatever you want to buy. If you're, and this happens a lot. Somebody will wonder how they compare to the other cars in the class, and they can't see any other results. But if you do want to see them, you can buy their judging sheets and look at them.
Yeah, for the whole class, it's not that expensive. It didn't used to be.
Well, it used to be a price for the class, but I had to stop doing that.
So it's
you're doing it per sheet.
$3
It's per sheet.
$3 a sheet.
Yeah.
And then we're talking electronically. You're going to send the results, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done a show yet or known of a show that's done with carshowfund.com that somebody doesn't call and want to know, they want their sheet or they want the entire class's
Right.
sheets. It's every show.
It is, and I frankly appreciate that because it does cost some money to run this.
Well, sure.
And that's how I offset the cost.
Yeah, but and Robert and I talk about this all the time. If you're doing a show to compete, you think you're competing against the car next to you. You're in it for the wrong reason. Most of it do it for money to the charity, but you should be competing against yourself and how well you've maintained and cleaned your car.
Right.
Right.
And that's the main thing is there's a lot of car shows that don't give the people their judging sheet and just says, hey, it is what it is, because they know if you're asking for a judging sheet, more likely you got a complaint.
Maybe. I would say probably that is some of it.
Yeah.
But going into this, one of the things I wanted to do was, because I went to a lot of car shows. I've been doing car shows for over 25 years, participating in them.
Right.
And I wanted my judging sheets, not because I wanted to see how I compared to somebody else. I wanted to see where I was being
What they were
judged.
looking at.
Yeah, what they were looking at, where I was being taken off. And I wanted to see them.
Yeah.
And I wanted this system to be completely transparent.
Right.
I've actually turned shows away who said they would not allow me to display the judging sheet after the show or to sell the judging
Right.
sheets after the show. Because if they're doing that, there's something wrong with the show. And that was another one of my goals, was to make it transparent, make it fair,
Yeah.
so everybody can see exactly what goes on.
Yeah, and it puts more pressure on the car clubs that are putting on the shows too, because now you got to have really expert judges, and that's where Northside comes in with its judging clinics. So we try to put judging clinics on so we can get everybody using these judging sheets to be consistent,
Right.
because we want all of our judges judging the same,
Right.
being very consistent. So, yeah, transparency was what it's all about.
Right. And that was one of the features I put into the system was when judges are. I wanted the same judge to judge the whole class wherever possible.
Right.
Because every person has their own biases. But if you apply the biases the same across an entire class, it's fair.
Right. That's
If you-
the conception of
Right.
Yeah.
If you've got multiple judges in one class, then you get different biases, and it's still going to work out. And it does. It works that way.
That's the
sometimes,
way we
but-
try to do it at Northside. If you're assigned to a class, you stay within that class. You don't go walking around and getting in everybody else's classes.
Exactly.
I really hadn't heard now in a couple of years people complain about unfair car shows. We used to hear that all the time. The guys in that club, they all voted for themselves or whatever. And I haven't heard that in a while. So
Right.
it's kind of smoothed out a little bit. I think your program helps that.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. I think it does too. And I did want to mention, this system does judged car shows. It also does participants' choice car shows. So if you wanted to have a participant vote, it can be set up that way. So
Well,
you can have top 20 and participants vote on the phone, same way.
Oh, okay.
Or if they don't want to, we can also enter a paper ballot.
So everyone who enters a car gets a pin,
yes.
and they can walk around and they
then
can
so if
do the
they're-
top 20.
If you're doing top 20 and you got 10 votes, you can vote
Yeah.
for 10 cars or whatever it is. It's configurable however you want it.
Right.
However you want it. But those are the shows though that I do hear, and everybody's been to those shows where who has the most friends, right? That's typically who's going to win.
Well, right. We did a show one time at Silsbee Ford, and jokingly said, if you want to buy, you could buy like a bucket of washers, and the more washers you had in your bucket, that weighed more, and so we were selling those. If you wanted to buy and vote for yourself or whatever, or vote for your friends, you could do that, and that kind of backfired on everybody.
There you go, selling trophies again.
Right. I like selling, man. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
David, it's about time for us to hop out and give some station recognition. But how do people get in touch with you?
So just go to carshowfund.com, and there's a link on the top menu that's a contact us link, and just contact us that way. Ask questions, whatever you want to do. I'm happy to show you how the system works.
You will set up a test show, won't you? So
yes.
People can actually practice in there.
Yes. If we set your show up, you will also get a practice show, and you can go practice it before the show, have your judges practice it, have your registration people practice, so there's no surprises at the show.
The only disadvantage of the whole thing is you got to have Wi-Fi.
Yes.
So bring a hotspot. If you're doing a car show out in the middle of the woods, have a hotspot.
You don't actually have to have Wi-Fi. It works over the cell system, but your computer, if you're using an iPad or something that has cell, you don't need a hotspot.
Okay.
So
Yeah, but you got to have cellular service. So
Right.
have cellular service.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
You better have that. So, David, is there an email address or a phone number, some way for folks to get in touch with you? You want me to give out your home phone?
I'm gonna not give you a phone number, actually, or an email. The best way to get in touch with me is just go to carshowfund.com and hit the contact us link and send us a message.
All right, sounds good. And we appreciate what you've done. Like I said, it's a great tool for the car club people. Really took 3 or 4 hours off, and it's just been a blessing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, David Sollenne, we thank you for coming into the studio and being here with us. Congratulations again on your retirement.
Thank you.
This is Cruisin Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy on 104.5 and 106.1 FM. For those interested in joining from around the world, you can stream us on irlonestar.com, YouTube, or Facebook.
Yeah, the #1 car club talk show in Conroe.
Downtown Conroe.
Hey, it's Andrew here from the Audience of One Show, inviting you to enjoy the mildly amusing antics of myself and Dick Schisler, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. on the Audience of One Show. We bring you funny observational humor, odd news stories, and every now and again, one brave soul as a featured guest. Don't miss out on a few laughs and a great time right here on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM with the Audience of One Show.
We are back again with more Cruisin Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. What's your name?
Robert Helmer.
Oh, yeah, he's joining us again, Robert Helmer. I'm Randy Weldon, and this segment, we've got Al Hammond, who is the National Treasurer on the Executive Board of Mustang Club of America. Al, welcome.
Thank you for being here.
I did want to point out to everybody, you didn't start... Well, you weren't even on the board originally. What'd you start? What was your car passion that got you into this?
Oh, okay. Well, I joined the Mustang Club of America in 2009 when I bought my second Mustang, 2008 Grabber Orange GT California Special. And our president at the time was one of the big national show judges. And he was a friend, got to know him even better through the car club. But he recommended that once I joined the MCO, which is the Mustang Club of Ohio, I should join the Mustang Club of America. Really got involved. We eventually hosted a national show, the Grand National, in 2015. Matter of fact, I pitched we were competing for the national show, for the Grand National Show, and I had to actually go to Dallas to make a pitch for our car club to actually get the show. We actually won the show and put on an amazing Grand National in 2015. We sold it out in a little less than 6 weeks. We had over 500 cars. Over 450 were judged.
That was at the it was at a hotel there right across from the mall, right?
Yeah, it was at the Hilton, right there
in Columbus.
Polaris.
In Columbus.
In Columbus, right. We had a track day at Mid Ohio. We had our Friday night banquet at the Columbus Zoo, which is one of the top 10 zoos in the country. And then we had our banquet at the hotel, and we had Gail Halderman as our featured speaker.
And Gail Wise was there too.
Yep.
Yeah,
We had 5 cars on display in the hotel the entire weekend. One was one of the original 1965 GTRs. It was actually a race car. The first Mustang ever sold. So Gail Wise's car was there. And we had a 2015, one of the anniversary cars. It was a real low number anniversary car was there. And I forget what the other car was. We had 5 cars on display. And so as a matter of fact, we also had a lot of things going on. It was a real busy event. We had a book signing that John Clore had one of his first books, or one of his big books, that actually included both the Gales, and they were all there to sign the book. It was actually debuted at our show. So he had 200 copies sent to the hotel. They all sold out within 20 minutes, and all 3 people autographed the book. So, I mean, we had a lot of different things there, and it was a really great event. It was a
good show. I was actually there.
Yeah. And that really got me involved in the national club. And at that point, I told my friend, who was the former president at this time, he was now the head national judge. And I said, hey, you know what? I think I can offer a lot to the Mustang Club of America if I run for the board. So I ran for the board, was elected, ran for 1 re-election, and then decided that, for me to really be able to make a difference and really have some input is going to be to run for the executive committee. So once my second term ended, I ran for treasurer when Steve Pruitt was the president, and I lost in a really close race. And I waited 2 years until her term was up and ran again. Again, I ran against another member of the board for the treasurer spot. Again, it was very close. I mean, less than a handful of votes, determined the winner in both races. But this time I was victorious, and have been running on the ground ever since. Been very involved in I've been on the administrative committee, helping out with the marketing committee, obviously the finance committee, and been very involved. And I will be reelected to the treasurer's position for another 2 years, since I'm running unopposed in the next election.
Well, you take part. It's important to all of us because whether people believe it or not, there's a lot of decisions that are made in the direction the club goes in. But when you were just a national director, what all committees were you on then?
I was on the administrative committee. I was on the marketing committee, and 1 year I was on the judging committee. And I was pretty involved in a lot of it. I was on the original negotiating team that brought Mecum in as one of our national sponsors. And so that was really a lot of fun. And I basically was in charge of negotiating all the administrative contracts for the club, working with our legal person on the board, and doing that work, and also doing a little bit of the marketing work, which was very interesting. And again, I was new to the board um, at that point because I hadn't really been involved other than to attend events. I've been on the other side of it. We started going to national events in 2009. And a matter of fact, we won our grill medallion on our Grabber Orange Mustang in 2020, right before COVID ended all of our national shows. And so we got involved, and I'll tell you what, we've been moving ahead ever since, met a great group of individuals, and have friends all over the country that we basically just get to see at the national events. And really, it's really been a really great brotherhood and fraternity of individuals that we've met and have created these friendships all over the country. And it's really been very interesting and a lot of fun. One heck of a lot of fun.
Everybody has fun when we get together. You got any suggestions for this new guy on the board?
Hey, come in with an open mind and a strong back and get ready to work. That's what I say.
I'm on the youth committee.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
I would tell you to talk to our people at the MCO. I think that our local club has done. Matter of fact, we've even had a few articles in the Mustang Times. Our local people have done great things with our youth. We have a big regional show here in Columbus. It's usually between 220 and 240 Ford cars and small trucks, and which is a pretty good regional show. And we've made a commitment to getting more youth involved. And over the last 3 years, we've gone from just a handful to, I think last year we had over 24 youths involved in either a model car show or a pedal car show.
Yeah.
And it was very, very, very well attended. And I think we're making great strides in getting youth involved.
We're about to
because I mean that's the future of our hobby is the youth.
We're about to lose you in the picture. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Well, that's pretty impressive. 24 children, or youth, that are they're attending a show. That's pretty unusual this day and age.
Right, and that's everybody, and those are all individuals under the driving age.
Under 50 or under 16.
Under
right?
16. Yep.
Yeah, Ohio might be different. You got the Amish, the wagons and stuff up there. So.
That's only in Holmes County.
So how many Mustangs do you own now?
Well, my wife and I have two. We have a 1988 GT 5-liter triple black convertible. It's an all original car, and it has about 47,000 miles. Its initial show that we've taken it to was in Buffalo a few years ago, and then our Grabber Orange 2008. The Grabber Orange car is one of 113 made. Matter of fact, in the 2-year run that they made, the California Special and Grabber Orange, they only made 149 cars.
Yeah, that's my favorite color too.
Yeah, 36 of them in 07 and the 113 in 08. Mine was 112 of 113. It was the second to last one off the production line.
Yeah, that California Special, that's a great model. It's got great options.
Yeah, the two-tone interior. It's the only way you could get a two-tone interior in it. And ours actually has the Shaker 1000 in it, which is really rare.
Right.
Most people don't like that big subwoofer in the back, in the trunk.
Yeah.
Well, that's because that trunk's so large anyhow.
Oh, yeah, I know. If I want to take my golf clubs in my Mustang, I have to take the clubs out of the bag to fit everything in the trunk.
Hey, what do you find different between being a national director and then being on the executive board?
Well, I've kind of had I evolved from being our regional director here in our local club to being the national director to being on the executive committee. And on the executive committee, I think that I have more input and have more insight and can bring more of my background into how we're going to do things and what we present to the board for their consideration. And how to run the club, basically. Um, a little bit about my background. I have my undergraduate degree is accounting, and I love, always loved business and accounting. But my master's is in sports administration, and I received that at Ohio University. And at the time, Ohio University was one of the top 5 programs in the country for sports administration. And I've worked in the front offices of the Chicago White Sox, the Youngstown Pride, which was an old um, ABL professional basketball team, and I worked at Youngstown State, Weber State College, and Ohio University in their athletic offices. And so I have almost a 20-year background in athletics. And so I was really looking to leverage that background into helping the Mustang Club of America. Because whether you're helping to market a basketball team or a football team or a women's volleyball team or a car show, it's all the same. Marketing is marketing. It's just applicating it to the specific audience that you're looking at. So I have a great deal of background in those. We just finished the Olympics. I spent 2 months at the Atlanta Olympics. I worked on the broadcast there for the Atlanta Olympic Broadcasting AOB for 2 months. So I have a great, varied background in athletics. And for the since 98, I've worked for the state of Ohio as a state auditor. And so I really have a kind of a unique and diverse background, but a lot of things that I can leverage to both help the Mustang Club with moving it forward in its marketing and in its administration, and also in its as the treasurer.
Yeah. Well, you got me when you said accounting, so I know you know how to handle a checkbook.
Yes, I do. So it's been very challenging. It was very interesting when I took over as the treasurer. I've kind of taking it over, and I've kind of treated it as a business,
Right.
and not so much as a club.
Well, it is, yeah, business.
Yeah.
Period.
And so that has made it a little bit different than I think the way it was treated in the past. And I think that I'm fairly well prepared, very well versed in what we do with our money. I present both workable spreadsheets to all the budget managers, and to me, a budget manager is whoever is the chair of any of the administrative committees. And they get that every quarter to show what they're spending in their budgets, how we're doing overall. And I show at just about every board meeting, if I can get all the documentation from our accountants, I show them how we're doing both in regards to budget to actual at that point in the year, both on expenses and in revenue.
Yeah.
And they never really showed the revenue side of the budget previously, but we made a real budget. We budgeted both the expenses this year and projected income.
Right.
And so we show how that's all working through. We've diversified our accounts and invested. We've taken advantage of the interest rates that are available to people, and have taken our cash and our capital that we weren't utilizing on a daily basis and invested it. And we're probably going to make anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000 in interest alone this year, where 2 years ago that was more around $200. So we've been able to, when I say I say the executive committee and the finance committee, with the support of the board, have looked at trying to diversify and to take advantage of basically the opportunities that are out there. And we've done a pretty good job, I think, of doing that. We've also published for the first time in, I think, over 20 years, the financial statements in the Mustang Times. They were in the April edition. So we're actually putting out for the membership, just so they can see where things are and how the Mustang Club stands, both financially and how we're expending our funds throughout the year.
Be a little more transparent there.
Well, I'm trying to be. But I mean, we're a nonprofit, and we're just stewards of the money for the club. I mean, it's the members' money, and it's not
Right.
ours.
Yeah, that's
so
a great
they
statement.
should know.
Exactly
Yeah,
correct. It's what we're doing,
Yeah.
managing for the members of the club because it's their club.
That's right. So I've always tried to do that, and we're looking at moving forward this year with going totally electronic in regards to how we produce or how I submit all of my expenditures, where I can actually upload all the expenditures into a website, into a web application of QuickBooks to reduce the time and so that it's a lot. The production time on for our accounts is a lot easier and a lot shorter. So hopefully we'll be able to save a little bit of money, and it'll be a lot easier to get our up-to-date financial statements and our financial position based on not only the cash position, which I can do basically every day, but where we stand and how I can project our expenditures throughout the rest of the year based on the budget to actual and where what we have left to spend, both in anticipated expenditures and anticipated income.
Sounds like you got best of both worlds. You enjoy what you do on the board side of it, and you're also enjoying your car and the activities of Mustang Club of America.
Well, I am really trying, because that's the reason we joined the club, was to have fun. I mean,
Right.
we wanted to meet people, and we had a great car that we wanted to show. And I married an athlete. She's in 5 Hall of Fames, and so she loves competition. So she loves going to the shows, and she's never shy about going up to the stage to collect a trophy whenever we win. So it's always fun.
That's great.
And now you've made friends not only nationwide but worldwide since the club is global.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, you getting to travel and hang out with these people in various locations, so it's working out.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a real goal or a dream that I'd like to accomplish, is I'd love to put my car on a container and send it over to Europe and drive through Western Europe, and just in the summer with that convertible, and just have a ball, just enjoy the countryside, and and be able to take my car and show it off through the countries of Western Europe, like France and Germany and Italy and Switzerland and England, and just have a great time doing that.
Well, as you know, the Mustang is such a showstopper over there anyhow. And Europe's such a cool place with the quaint towns and the roads and everything.
Right.
They've got some good freeways, but, the back roads.
Well, especially with that color, too. I mean, I forget which color, I think it's Denmark. The actual color, the King of Denmark, I think their color is orange. So their athletes all run in orange and orange uniforms, and so orange is like a big color. So bringing over an orange car would be like huge to them. So
I know the Netherlands is orange and blue. That's
what it is. It's the Netherlands. I always get it mixed up with Denmark for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's it's bright like safety orange,
Right. Right. Yeah, I always say my car is more like Tennessee orange, not like Texas orange.
Yours isn't the burnt orange. You're more like the UT in Tennessee. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, when I lived in Knoxville, I had to live with that a lot, But now I'm back in the great state, and things are different. So.
Right. Exactly.
Well, Al, we appreciate you taking time to Zoom in with us. How do other than Mustang.org, www.mustang.org, we know is the website for Mustang Club of America, but how do people get in touch with you? You may have people that want to become members, and now they're more comfortable with you because they've seen you on this podcast.
Well, what I do is whenever I attend events, whether it's a local show, I carry them with me whenever I'm traveling, as I always have my business card. And on my business card, I always have my email account and my cell phone. So I always encourage people, hey, if you have any questions about the Mustang Club, you want to learn how to join it, I tell them to go to mustang.org. If not, I say just contact me, and I can put you in touch with I can get you the information and email you a link back. So I would encourage people, if they wanted to get in touch with me, to use my email, which is ahamm1771 at hotmail.com. It's always the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Well, that'll work. Hey, again, we appreciate you taking time to zoom in with us. We know you've got an important Cleveland Indians game to get to watch.
Well, I have to take advantage of it because, when I was a kid, I used to go up to the old municipal stadium, and I'm dating myself here now, I know, but
I've been in that stadium.
We used to go to the municipal stadium for the I Hate the Yankee Hanky night.
Oh, man, the old days.
The old days,
Yeah.
when we were really bad. We were really not a very good baseball team, and the Yankees were always very good. But it's kind of a labor of love when you're an Indians fan. You just have to be patient, and I mean, we've been rewarded. I mean, and I kind of delve into some sports memorabilia. I have programs from the World Series in 1920, from 1948 and 1954. I have press books and individual programs that go back to the 30s and 40s, which are really hard to find because of the paper drives of World War II. I also have a autographed baseball of the 51 Indians, which was 3 years after they won the series in 48, and the heartbreak of the series they lost in 4 after setting the record for the most wins in a season in 54. So you can tell I'm a very big Indians fan, have been my whole life. So whenever they do well, I'm always willing to to beat the drum. No pun intended. But and if you know the Indians, you know what that means.
Right.
But I'm also always been true to my team, and always through thick and thin. So now that they have one of the best records in baseball, I'm very glad to speak about them and talk about them and root them on.
There you go.
But they'll always be the Indians.
They'll always be the Indians. You didn't hear me call them that G
Nope.
word, because they're not that.
I
are not that G word.
I won't say it either. And as you can tell, I'm still wearing my Chief Wahoo's ball cap here.
There you
so
go.
There you go.
Yeah.
And just an update. They in the top of the third, we're losing 2-0.
That's
So
all right. They'll come back. They got
They'll
this.
come back. Exactly. That's what they were. They were down last night 2-0, and they came back and won. So
That's the way it works, man. All we got to say is go Tribe.
that's it. Gentlemen, have a great evening. Thanks so much for having me on, and have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Al.
for
You
being
take
here.
care. And that's
Have a
it for
good
the.
night.
Thank you, buddy. You take care. And that's it for this episode of Cruisin Car Club Talk. I'm Randy Weldon.
I'm Robert Helmer, and let us know what you think about the show.
Yeah, we'd love to have that input, or any negative comments go to Robert. You can send anything else to me. It's positive. Way over there in the sound booth, our sound engineer and producer Dick Schischler is still awake. We haven't put him to sleep. He's not snoring or anything. We are broadcasting from the studios of Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 and 106.1 FM. Or for the Globetrotters, we can be streamed worldwide at irlonestar.com, on YouTube, and on Facebook.
Share this as many times as you can.
Yeah, we'll look forward to spending time with you on the next episode of Cruisin Car Club Talk.
All right, see you next time.